Hello everyone. I want to talk about a couple of things. My grandfather's dream being one of them. The other thing is just going to be a general rant on what I think's going on here and what I think we're in as far as reality goes. So starting with my grandpa's dream, it started off in this setting, kind of an urban setting, near a very large facility building. The building looked like it was a hospital. It was kind of in the shape of, I could see like the dimensions of the building, and it was kind of in the shape of a pentagon, sort of. And somehow I knew this was a hospital. And I saw my grandpa standing on the steps, and he resembled, and I should clarify something because you guys don't know that he died back in February, and I've been asking for a sign of any kind from him at all, and this is the first time he appeared before me in a dream. He appeared not as his younger self. He looked just like he did before he died, old. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but he had the same sort of appearance. And we both went inside this building, this massive building. We go inside, and we start walking down a long hallway, very long hallway, and seems like we're walking forever until we reach a room, and it was just a small room. We go inside, and inside the room it was like a little miniature library with a desk. It looked like somebody's office. There was about a couple of hundred books and shelves that were all around. And he told me to approach the books, and he said, "Look, I have something I want to give you." And he goes behind the books, and he starts digging and digging, and he takes out this beautiful silver chalice or a cup like thing. It wasn't really a cup. It was hard to describe what it was. It was a silver object of some kind. It was a little bit too flat to be a cup. And it had this beautiful embroidery on it. And it was this brilliant shining silver. And he took it and he gave it to me. And I looked at it for what felt like an eternity. I looked and I looked and I looked. And I took it, and I just loved this object. I loved it. And I really felt this warm-heartedness from this gift. I went and we walked back down the hallway. We exited the building, and he was standing on the steps again, and he waved me goodbye. That was pretty much the end of it. So let's get into the other subject right now. Imagine spiritual evolution operates the way that I suspect it to. Granted, there are countless ways that you can evolve and grow as a soul, and each person's journey is unique, just as each person's afterlife is unique to that person, to that soul signature. That's why everything and anything can be and is possible within eternity. So having said that, if we look at the nature of our reality, been thinking about this a lot lately after my brother gave me and my son a Christmas present, a microscope, a professional microscope. And I'm looking at all sorts of things, tiny. I could see their cells, I could see the structures. And it always goes back to the Mandelbrot set. Everything is a fractal within a fractal. An atom is its own solar system. A cell is its own galaxy. A body is its own universe. A planet is its own body to the cell of the solar system, and it expands outward. And so too does consciousness. There's this cycle that appears to be present everywhere, where everything is a seed that sprouts and it grows and it grows and it grows. It seems like it's embedded in everything, the way it operates. So just imagine for a minute, I know a lot of YouTubers talk about this stuff. I know. I'm not saying anything new here at all. But really just try to imagine for a minute, you have a vulnerable race of species, a new race on a planet that's trying to survive, that's hunting and gathering, that's struggling, that's going through traumas. And in that trauma and that struggle, they're yearning for answers. They're yearning for something more than their own strife. And you have a planet just sitting exposed in the universe. You have a group of celestial beings come through that, like the Mandelbrot set, if you are a microbe, you will appear, or an ant, or whatever analogy you want to put it, you will appear minuscule before these beings, and you will say to yourself, these are gods. These are gods. And these gods, they come to this vulnerable race, gullible, not knowing any better, and they quote unquote teach them. And they teach them real things at first, how to operate in the universe using magic, using alchemy, using magnetics, how to build structures, blah, blah, blah. But on the surface, it's just a ruse because they corrupt you. Over time, they will demand blood. And after they demand blood, they demand that you create a cult worshiping them to give them blood. And what do we have in the world today? We have a massive blood worshiping cult, from the Aztecs to the Catholics and everything in between. How do we know any better? As above, so below. You have regular humans here today, all over the world, in cults, with people proclaiming that they are Jesus, literally. And people follow them. And who's to say that the same type of idea doesn't occur on a grander scale? Lesser gods following higher gods, and that God proclaims to be the God. How can anyone, being, proclaim to be God? How? If all of existence and all of creation for all eternity is God, there is nothing that is not. You should be weary if one being comes to you and proclaims divinity like that. how would we know any better? We're really gullible, we're really vulnerable, and we're really detached because this experiment, this matrix, purposely and deliberately separated itself from the divine, from the actual divine source of all that is. And we've left ourselves exposed to anything and everything. And anything and everything does happen here because we signed some sort of goofy ass, dumbass contract that we didn't need to sign. But it goes even deeper than that. I think we're stuck in a time loop. I didn't think that this was the case before until something just clicked in my head. And this is not a short time loop by any means. It's quite a long extended cycle. The earth was on a path of natural spiritual evolution. I personally believe the age of our planet is around 300 million years. And in that 300 million years, we have evolved extensively, far beyond anything we are today, close to angelic status, until something happened. That's what the Bible calls the downfall. The downfall, I don't think it was a literal biting of some fruit. I don't know if that's code for a change in genetics, an agreement, a contract between some supernatural beings and us. We took the bait 13,000 years ago. I think this happened just after the last cataclysm that took out Atlantis. And I think Atlantis was real. Just in case you're wondering, I think it was a real place. And the cataclysm was called the Younger Dryas. I could look it up. A lot of people talk about it. What happened was an experiment started, a time loop experiment. Was that we took the bait. We were told, you will have an evil twin inside yourself if you take this. But that evil twin will help you grow and evolve more than you could ever possibly imagine. You will become gods if you take this. Whatever it was, I have no idea. And we did. And we went through this cycle, 13,000 years of hell, wars, death, disease, famine, starvation, until we reached today. What today is the moment of iPad Go 2. We have reached the end of the cycle, where Lily decides not to take the bait, not to eat of the fruit of good and evil. And so the earth is destroyed again, and we return not to what they proclaim is the new earth. It is the original Garden of Eden. We start right back where we came from. Again, it's the old earth that we're going to. The old Garden of Eden, 13,000 years back, or however long it was. Probably a little bit more than that. It starts all over again. We live in this paradise. We frolic around in glee and happiness and joy. And then they come back again, the gods. They come back. The reptiles, mantis, who the hell cares who they are? Angels, who cares? And they give you the bait again. And you bite that fruit. and it goes back downhill again to today. And the earth is destroyed by fire and water in the birth of the new sun. And the new sun is the old sun, and the new earth is the old earth. And the cycle starts again. And the experiment is, can we finally break the cycle? Can we finally not take the bait? This is all just theory. Sounds completely insane and nonsensical. But considering just how screwed up everything is, I have to accept anything and everything is a possibility. Having experienced a near-death experience and out-of-body experiences and all sorts of things, I know that this is a game. And it's not us that are stuck forever in the cycle, I don't believe. It's the matrix itself that's stuck in this cycle. So, having said that, I think this time the cycle will be broken and will not return. Something